Hello, I'm Timothy Linsdau. I'm a video producer, Christian, amateur historian, enjoy politics. And some of the politics today that are disturbing have to do with the Boy Scouts of America. I've been involved in the Boy Scouts for I've been awarded from them being involved in one way or the other for 50 years as a volunteer. So I have to make sure to say here, I do not represent officially the Boy Scouts in any way. I've only been a volunteer, and that's all I am now. So I don't represent them in anything I have to say here, just only as a volunteer. Enjoyed the program greatly when I was a youth. Loved the challenges and the outdoor experience. Many great experiences that I was able to have simply because I was in the program that many kids didn't get a chance to experience. Certain outdoor adventures, certain skill challenges, there's over 130 some merit badges, which are different vocations and avocations of all kinds that a scout can learn so much that gives them a head start over others by going through the program. It also has one of the most famous ranks in the world, which is Eagle Scout. It's quite well known and a coveted rank. Many heroes of our country in the 20th century were Eagle Scouts, such as Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon. You could go down a long list. But recently, it's been some discussion about the Boy Scouts having to declare bankruptcy. And I hadn't read that news until this evening. My youngest son had sent that to me. And I read some about it, and then I read a letter from the National Scout Executive that didn't give any specifics. BSA has hit its peak, I think, about the early 70s, and has had a slow decline. I wrote a paper on the Boy Scouts when I was in college in sociology, and how ingrained or attached to the American culture the Boy Scouts has been over the years. So anything that happens to them becomes an issue or a news issue. And there's so many things to cover here. Try to keep this confined, but one thing to remember, that all of the scouting units and their commissioners are volunteers, and that's an important part of this. The professional staff are quite small compared to the volunteer staffs. But the issue, one of the worst issues that have come up is child abuse. And any organization, youth organizations and churches have had real issues with that in the last few years, of course. And I believe that's one thing that's causing the scouting program a monetary struggle. But the Boy Scouts struggled before that with other cultural issues as to who could be a member, and had to deal with lawsuits then. And as I'd written in that paper, because they've become a focus of attention, that they represent high ideals and morals, that they become like a catalyst for discussion, or cultural changes are played out on the stage of the Boy Scouts of America, if you will. It became so much part of the American culture. There's been a lot of changes this last couple of years with allowing girls into the Boy Scout program and the Cub Scout program. previously, for over 30 years, their older programs had already been co-ed from ages 14 to 21. And then recently, one of the big changes is the Latter-day Saints Church has decided to move on to a different program, which involved a large number of scouts, probably over, I won't even repeat it because it can be a mistake. But a large number and a large amount of money. It's being affected by a cultural change in the nation. There's quite a bit of division in the nation now. And I guess that shows up in the scouting program also. As I said before, it becomes a stage in which the culture is played on. I don't quite remember the words I used, but it ends up being in the middle of these arguments. And for whatever reason. And again, I think it has a lot to do with the high ideals that Boy Scouts have in its program, in its oath and its law, and which are quite important. Some years ago in the 80s, they started youth protection guidelines, and it was developed to prevent child abuse. And it is a good program, and they have 2D leadership, multiple ways to protect the scouts and adults from abuse. And they've improved on that program steadily. I believe now it's called the Youth Protection Training. And it's a really good study. And other organizations that I have seen youth protection programs are really, to me, just shadows of the Boy Scouts program, which is one of the first, I believe, in the world to actually put a program like that together. So yes, abuse has happened in the program, as well as, in people using the program, and many other organizations. Now, whether child abuse was covered up or ignored or whatever it is, that over the years, it seems like suddenly it's broken onto the scene, but I don't think it has suddenly. It may have, but if there's a particular reason it's worse or the same or better, I don't know. But one way or the other, it's having a large effect on the scouting's financial abilities, I believe. But because of the cultural changes we've had in this country, it's having its effect. I was told that the militaristic look of the Boy Scouts had hurt the program after the Vietnam War, because there was so much division over that war. And again, it shows you how the Boy Scouts get affected and tangled up in our cultural issues. And I suppose anything that does its best to represent high ideals, it's going to reflect, and people are going to say, well, what happened? What's wrong? But again, like I said, the units themselves are run by volunteers. The sponsoring organization representatives are volunteers, and doing their best to take this program that's been used worldwide and try to be of benefit to youth. And yes, there are bad actors and have been bad actors in the scouting and many other organizations, no doubt about it. But the Boy Scouting program is a terrific program. It's an off-the-shelf program that any organization can use to benefit their youth. And there are millions of youth that will tell you how great it was for them and what it did that gave them a leg up or a head start in life that has proven to be a great asset. How they come out on this now with their changes, I don't know. Right now, I'm working in multiple areas to provide a good program for youth. And doing what I can in leadership, I think that much of the program. What happens will be a reflection of our culture, of our society. I think that's a good way to look at it. It will be a reflection of what's going on in our society. And pay attention to that. But it's a good program to support. It's a great thing for youth. Get involved. And that's usually one of the problems. People don't get involved and try to help these great programs along. It's easy to complain, easy to walk away, but what a heavy loss that would be to us all. So give it some thought, give them some support, get involved. There's alumni organizations for Scouters and friends out there too that support the program. So take a look. It's about all I can say about it. Again, I do not represent the Scouts. I'm not a professional Scouter. I'm just a volunteer telling you my concerns and my experience of the Boy Scouts of America. So thank you. I'm Tim Linsdau, and thanks a lot for listening. Like and comment on my video, and subscribe to my channel. I got a lot of stuff on there.